the last Sunday of Ordinary Time, the 34th week, and the celebration, the solemnity of Jesus Christ, Lord of the universe, Christ the King. I highly recommend listening to again or reading the first reading from 2 Samuel, where David is anointed king because he has gone out and defeated the enemy and brought the troops back, and the elders and the rulers said, "You are king. You are replacing Saul." And so he does, and he rules. So the Feast of Christ the King, then, the gospel, is, if you want to say, it's the final conversation that is recorded in Luke's gospel. In Luke's gospel, Jesus has many conversations with various people, with the apostles, and with Mary Magdalene, and with the Pharisees, and with the officials and those who are in need. He is consistently saying the same things, which is very important, consistency. Because the final conversation in today's gospel is a crucifixional conversation. And the officials, the rulers and the elders, it's comparing with in 2 Samuel, they are celebrating David. These, as the new king of Israel, the soldiers and elders are jeering and sneering and challenging, "If you are the Son of God, then come down." Or if and those are all what we call subjunctive. They're conditional. They're contrary to fact, if. And Jesus is on the cross with a very dramatic statement of "I am," indicative, not possible, but inevitable. I am who I am. But within this gospel, there's a wonderful conversation. There are two men on either side of Jesus, also receiving condemnation by the usual Roman way of crucifixion. They know they are guilty, and one takes up the theme of jeering and sneering, kind of condemning Jesus. And there's the good criminal or whatever, and he's saying, he in a way is anointing Jesus, and Jesus is anointing him with the promise, because of your faith, you too are saved, just as the other conversations I have had in the gospel. But what I want to emphasize today is the word consistency. We know that we are interior moving to the exterior. And psychological or personality health are my outward gestures, words, signs, demonstrations, are they a reflection of the interior? And psychological disturbance is when there's a distinction or a separation or an incongruity or an inconsistency, that what I do is contrary to who I am. So we assume that we are dealing with a very healthy God, in a way. And Jesus is very healthy, that his interior is always being displayed. And what he says on the cross, in that conversation, he is saying to Zacchaeus, Mary Magdalene, the apostles, so many, of course, I don't dominate you, dominus, lord it over you. My kingship is not lording over, but serving you. I am a domestic servant. I serve you in your house. It's my interior, always being displayed in the same way. So whether it's at the side of the lake calling the early apostles, or it's at the foot of the sycamore tree where Zacchaeus is resting, or is it on the tree of the cross where Jesus finally says in a very dramatic way, I am. And here on the cross in my conversation, my interior also comes out to you. You are condemned, rightly. I don't condemn. I am a domestic servant. Dominus is the house. I come to your house. I am a domestic servant of your interiors. I can condemn your exterior, but I heal you. In your interior, you will be with me because of your faith. So it's a kingship of Christ's interior, of the interior of God expressed in the incarnation of God's interior. To have seen Jesus is to have seen something of God that we can understand. And this is the God, the interior of God, saying, those who the world condemns, I don't condemn. Those whom you condemn yourselves, and you are on the cross of your own guilt, I make my home in you. I am your interior servant. I am your interior dominator. And my rule is compassion. And my rule is that you let me be who I am so I can heal you to be who you really are and whom I say you are. To live with that in our hearts and in our spirits is a celebration of Christ, the King of the universe and my personal universe. He is healthy, asking my interior to be healthy, and my interior will be expressed in the consistency of healthy and holy gestures, as was his life. Jesus, King of the universe, King of my life, to the degree to which I can allow him in.